and Monday nights at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. And it really is a pleasure to have the very, very funny and talented Luenell joining us in studio. This is very exciting.
Welcome.
Luenell, thank you so much for being here. You're sporting your very glittery hat and the cool shades, and I like the look. You're looking good.
You look like a rock star today.
I like it.
You got the sparkles on.
Rhythm Nation Senior Citizen Edition.
Not senior citizen.
So 50 years ago, if somebody said to you, Luenell, you're going to be headlining in Las Vegas, what would you have said?
I'd have said naturally.
I like that
That's
answer.
that confidence I love to hear.
Yeah, naturally.
I love it. I love it.
It's always been a goal of mine to get to Las Vegas. It used to be, had the reputation of, this is where you go when your career is waning, or this is when you go last Yahoo.
That's not true.
That's
not
the
true
way
at all.
it used to be perceived.
Yep.
But it is absolutely not the way it is now. And I feel like I'm catching it on the real upswing of Vegas resurgence, especially since being shut down for 2 years.
I agree. And the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club, it's a great club, and I'm a big fan of Jimmy Kimmel, too, and I think the club is awesome. I mean, I got to take me back to when you first got started in this business. Like, how did you get your first, I guess you could say, foot in the door in the entertainment business when you got started?
Well, I think that actually everything started with church choir.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like rehearsal on Wednesday and you have a show on Sunday. It's sort of like that. And then from there, I went into theater because I had went to a play and got to go to the opening night reception. And I got to go backstage and see all the cords and the lights and the wardrobe hanging and stuff in the dressing rooms, and then went to the reception, and everybody was loving on people. They was taking pictures, and they were drinking champagne and eating little finger foods. And I said, I don't know what this is, but I want some of this. And subsequently just started studying theater, and then from there, a friend of mine couldn't make an audition, and this is, 27, 28 years ago.
Right.
So they sent me instead, and I got the part, and that was in my first movie, So I Married an Axe Murderer, which is Mike Myers' first
Very funny movie. Yeah.
Before any of the Austin Powers stuff.
Right.
And then it just sort of spiraled, and I sort of met a guy who was dating my roommate, and he was a comic. And he would be at the house all the time. These are trash. I'm going to take them out. I can only hear one ear anyway.
Sorry about that,
Go to
Luenell.
Radio Shack and get some new.
I know. We can't afford real headphones.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
can. And so
I'm glad you said it, Luenell.
anyway, I went to the club, and the guy had said he would put me up, and thought about some things that I thought was funny, but it wasn't really my goal.
Right.
But the very first night that I did stand up, I met the late great Robin Harris. The first night. I took that as sort of like an omen, and he told me to come to his club, and I met a young DL, young Jamie, a young, Bill Bellamy, and not you per
I'm
se.
JBD. Hold on. When you meet me?
I love Bill Bellamy.
If I had met you, you would know.
I love Bill Bellamy, by the way.
Tell me
But
about
you've worked with some of the most iconic people on film. Let's start with Eddie Murphy. Obviously, I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan. His stand-up was just second to none, and so many iconic films.
Did you ever see when he went back to Saturday Night Live?
I have seen video of that. You can find that on YouTube and stuff. Brilliant.
I was there. I flew there to watch it.
Isn't he?
I was in the
What is
building.
it? So let me ask you this: the first time you meet Eddie Murphy, or you find out you're going to be in some films with him, what goes through your mind? Are you nervous the first time you meet him? What was that like being on set with Eddie Murphy?
Well, I didn't meet him for the first time for work. I met him for the first time at a club in L.A. that used to be called the Conga Room. And it was, like, oh, hey, what's up, Eddie? And we took a picture and all this kind of stuff, which I have in my living room. Then the next time I met him was at the premiere for Norbit. And I was
Funny
like,
movie.
Love that movie.
He was over there with Tracy Edmonds and stuff, and I was like, hi, Eddie, can I come over? And he was like, yeah. And I wanted to introduce myself, and he's like, I know who you are. And I was like, oh, my God. So we had met several times, plus I was really close to his brother, Charlie.
The late Charlie Murphy. I was lucky to meet him in
I
Vegas.
did Black Jesus with Charlie.
Right.
We did a movie together.
Very talented.
We did a bunch of things together. So Eddie was very aware of me. But when I got the part for Dolomite Is My Name, I had to audition like 5 times. And we even did an old school screen test where they sort of dress you up, put you, in the auntie swag, and did all that. Well, actually, not in the auntie swag. I actually auditioned for the part of Lady Reed that the other young lady got, Broadway chick. But instead of just getting rid of me because I didn't get that part, they gave me the part of the auntie, which I appreciated more because it was just Eddie and me in that scene. So I was flabbergasted that I was now going to make a movie with Eddie, but I didn't nut up because it wasn't my first time.
Right,
movie.
understood, and just as such an iconic figure. All right, so let me ask you, and I know you've probably never been asked about Borat before.
Oh,
I know,
never.
but
Only every day.
I know nobody
all
has
the time.
Only every interview for the last
I know
20 years.
So forgive me because I want to talk about a lot of other things.
Okay,
but one or
that's
two
cool.
quick questions.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sacha Baron Cohen is brilliant. Was he like in his character when the cameras weren't rolling? Did he stay in his character? Like, did he talk to you in the Borat character, or was he just Sacha Baron Cohen when he talked to you when the cameras weren't rolling?
Sometimes he stayed in character.
Did he really?
Often he stayed in character, but sometimes, like Millie at lunch and stuff, he wasn't. He's very quiet type of guy too. He's not who he acts like. You know what I mean?
So when you're in that scene, obviously the very famous scene where you're playing, I guess for lack of a better term, a prostitute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you show up at this home with nice Christian people. Those people had no idea what was going on, right? They're not paid actors. You were, obviously. But that was real, right? You guys were kicked out of there, right?
Yeah, well, first of all, those nice Christian people were successionist racists.
Doesn't surprise
they
me.
had never had a black person at their front door ever.
Oh, wow.
Let alone one dressed like a hooker. And
Right.
you can't do a second take of that. So when you do it, if something goes wrong, you have to go to another town,
Right.
set up another family, and do it again. Luckily, the first family, and we did it to 3 different families. The first family we did is the family that was in the movie.
But now, aren't you afraid,
They
though?
was sick
I
of
was
y'all.
terrified.
They was sick of y'all.
I would have been afraid that somebody's going to come out in like a clown outfit or something.
I told him, I said, I'm not doing it. Because Sasha was in the house with the family and the cameras, which had told, they had told people, oh, we have this dignitary from Kazakhstan and blah, blah, blah. And, some of these big wealthy families, they like to be the ones to host a big a political entity or entertainer or whatever. So they had made all this, food, vichyssoise and, steak tartare and all this kind of stuff. And Sasha went in there and, he tasted the stuff and he was like, terrible, terrible. He says, you know what American food I like? Little Debbie. And he pulls out a Little Debbie cupcake and they got all this.
But Luenell, you're hanging out. You're going. You don't know these people.
No.
You're dressed
We're
in
in
revealing
the van,
clothing.
though, but we're in a van hidden, looking at what's going on inside the house.
So you can see.
So then, director Larry Charles is like, okay, go to the
Brilliant
door.
director.
Yes, he's insane like Sasha. And he says, okay, go to the door. And I was like, I'm not doing it. And he said, no, Luenell, it's okay. We got your back. I said, no, they're going to shoot me.
You were genuinely afraid for
Did they
your
have
life.
security or anything for y'all?
No,
Just in case?
no.
What if stuff went haywire? What would have happened
It
to your
did
safety?
go haywire.
No, in like a bad way.
It did go haywire.
So
in a bad
I'll let
way.
you have it.
stuff that we didn't see in the movie. When you say it went, I mean, we know it went haywire, but what else happened that maybe didn't make
Right.
the cut?
Okay, when we were thrown out the house, because we got thrown out the house.
Right.
They had really called the police on us, so we had to really get out of there.
They
before
called the
That
police
was
on
real.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's
And there
crazy.
was 96 arrests during the filming of Borat.
What?
Yeah. So don't forget, as prophetic as Sasha is, if you will recall in the movie, he took a dump in front of Trump Tower.
Yes.
So
yes.
that was pretty prophetic if you asked me.
How did you
Way
get
ahead
that
of
role,
its
by
time.
the way?
I had to audition.
Yeah.
I auditioned.
You were great. Very funny.
Yeah.
Did you, when you're, one more question about this. When you were making that film and in those scenes, did you have any idea that this would be like an iconic comedy that people would be talking about?
No, I thought I was going to get drugged. I thought we were going to get what's that? When raspberry, when they tell you that your movie is trash,
Oh.
I thought that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And
That definitely didn't happen.
definitely did not. But what did happen or didn't happen was I had to sign a 6-month gag order
Really?
and not tell people that I was a prostitute. Because if I'm in Beverly Hills and I'm drinking at a bar,
Right.
you know, people are like, that's a prostitute. I can't go, I'm not really a hooker, because you don't know who you're talking to.
people
in
still say
Hollywood.
that.
Yeah.
And
they gonna ruin
you
it for
could
you.
could breach your contract.
Yeah.
So when Sasha and Ken Davidian were going on doing all this press, you know, I could have been doing that too, but I couldn't because of the gag order. So I didn't get any. That could have leveled me up. That movie right there.
But you've been in so many iconic films,
and
and
I'm still.
you're still
Doing
going
it.
strong.
As
But
you should
is
say.
it frustrating to you at all, or do you embrace it? Because I would imagine a lot of people, especially millennials, right? Everybody knows Borat. Is it annoying to you? And they, oh, you're the comic, you're the hooker from Borat. Does that bother you at all?
Millennials absolutely do not know anything about Borat. Because
Maybe you're right.
Millennials don't know anything about anything.
Oh, hold on, wait. I'm a millennial. Don't do that. Don't do that now. Friend.
Okay, so let me
Friend.
say.
Everybody except
Gen
JD.
X. No, let me say. What's
Okay.
the one under you? Gen X?
Gen Z. Gen Z.
It's
Gen
not
Z.
the
If I say
millennials,
they
but
don't
I
know.
think I'm a baby boomer.
Yes.
Millennials, okay. Gen Z,
No, it's
X,
them
they're
TikTokers.
not even
I hear
listening
you.
to this. So
I get,
they don't care.
I get what you're saying, but some people embrace, in their career. Like I remember, I once met James Gandolfini.
Oh,
the
my
late,
God.
the late James Gandolfini. I loved Sopranos,
Oh, my
and it was
God, I
such
love
an
that.
honor. I met him at Muhammad Ali's 70th birthday celebration
Oh,
here,
yeah.
and I asked him. I said, "Does it get tiring to you?" And he says, "No. That's what I'm famous for. That's how I made my money, and
yeah.
and obviously you've done so many great films.
Did
and
you
great
see
work.
the movie after the Sopranos?
Yeah, the
where
movie he
his
did-
son played
yes,
him.
Yes, what
That was
Saints
great.
of Newark, right?
Yeah.
And that movie just passed away. The guy from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta.
The guy with the white hair.
Yeah. Who are some?
and Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Yeah. Very sad. What were some of your favorite iconic films? Comedies. I'm curious.
That I was in or that I
No,
love?
just personally, or that you were in. But I'm like, what are some of your movies that you say, man, that's one of my favorites of all time?
Well, all
Besides Borat.
all the Friday franchises.
Oh, listen.
Oh yeah.
I gotta
Faith.
say that.
Faith, for
you
sure.
know, off the rip.
Yeah.
And Nutty Professor,
Oh, yeah.
the original one and the later one with Jerry Lewis,
Right.
and the one with Eddie Murphy,
Oh, I love me some Eddie Murphy.
and anything Lucille Ball related or anything Carol Burnett related.
Okay.
And just as far as what I've done, like I think one of my favorite movies is this movie that didn't quite fly, was Lionsgate, but something happened. It was written and directed by Nick Cannon. It was called
Yes.
School Dance,
Yep.
Okay.
and that had Kevin Hart and Mike Epps and Cat Williams and Lil Duval and myself and George Lopez.
Love Cat.
And Rose and Tiffany Haddish. And
Wow.
It had a whole star lineup.
A lot of them greats, yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really funny. And, this other Adam Sandler movie that I did called That's My Boy, where I had played once again. They keep making me be a stripper. They
Right.
want me to take my clothes off.
Scripper.
As a scripper.
Scripper.
And I was the head scripper. Sierra played
The
my
hand scripper.
daughter.
Okay.
And I
played
had my
well, friend.
boobs out through the whole movie.
And you were in the
they
Nick
were
Cannon film She-Ball, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
She-Ball.
yeah.
That
How does-
didn't go nowhere neither.
Nick Cannon, he was with Mariah for a while, right?
Yeah, man.
I mean, you don't have to ask that. You know
But
that.
I do.
know that,
I do.
yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Go
now,
ahead, Jamie.
Luenell, you make a mention of a lot of the greats that you've actually worked with, you've met, participated in other activities with. Tell me, who is your favorite comedian to have worked with and why in your entire career? You got to think hard about this
Eddie.
one, huh? Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
Okay, how come?
Because I studied him and I watched him and I see how he works now. And with that cast, with so many people, Eddie and Arsenio and John Amos and Rick Ross and, Sherry Headley and everybody, it was just an honor to be able to see him work, Comedically, tour-wise, of course, would be Cat Williams, who is,
Okay.
the only person that ever took me on tour.
The only person.
The only person.
Oh,
And he
wow.
took me twice.
Okay.
So, you know,
Love
he's
Cat
been
Williams.
my friend
Cat
for
Williams.
many,
He's
many
like,
years.
what is he's like 5 feet tall, right? He's a short dude.
I
he
don't
can
do Cat Williams.
Stand on his wallet and he'll be taller.
That's
than
true.
you.
You better
That's
say
very
it. You better say it.
Right.
Now, Luenell, you're an actor, comedian, writer, and out of all three professions you've done, which you're doing amazing at all three, even simultaneously, which one do you like doing the most and why?
Oh, stand up by far.
By far? How
By
come?
far.
Even over acting, I mean, you're playing a great prostitute in a lot of movies and
Yeah,
shows.
but,
You do a
the-
good job,
the
Fred.
experience I have. for that. No, stand up because I'm saying my own words. And I don't have to memorize. I'm not stressed to memorize other people's lines and words and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm my own director, my own writer, my own producer. I do the show the way I want to and arrange it the way I want to, have the people on it that I want to and stuff like that. And I prefer to do television over movies because of the turnaround. You know, you tell somebody, I'm doing a movie with, with Sanaa Lathan or whatever, and then 10 months later, yeah, what happened to the movie? It's coming,
listen,
it's coming.
I've had
so
a few
every
of those
movie is a
experiences. Yep.
year coming out.
Yep.
So I don't like that. I like the television
Trust
turnaround
me.
better. I'm on Hacks right now, which is on HBO Max with Gene Smart about a female comic in Las Vegas. And I'm on another show called Tiny Beautiful Things, and that's on I think Hulu maybe. And I just like to turn around for television.
I feel that.
If you're just joining us, she is Luenell. She is performing residency at Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. Fantastic stand-up comic. Sunday night, Monday night. The shows are 9 p.m. Have that right?
9:30 on Sunday nights and 7:30 tonight on Monday nights.
So it's 7:30 tonight. I absolutely recommend going out
Have
and
you
checking
been
it
to
out.
see me yet?
I need to see you.
I haven't seen you in person,
So
but
he
I've
telling
seen
you about something, y'all, that he ain't even
Listen,
No.
I have an excuse though. I
That's-
moved here a month ago, so can I come? Can you want to give
I
me a
moved
personal
here
invite?
10 days ago.
I have
Oh,
seen
okay.
Crimea
Listen,
River.
so we here. We
I have-
here.
I
Where's my
have-
personal invite?
I have seen Luenell on YouTube, and I've seen her video stand-up comedy, but I haven't seen you do
And I
stand-up.
gotta say that's great, but
But not in
until
person.
you're in the
See you in
room
person,
to feel me and to,
Right,
like
I agree.
see every nuance and
Can
smell
I feel you
me.
now?
You may.
Ooh, hold on, don't do that. I'm single now. Okay.
I
but
just wanted to
and
ask her
what
one
else?
Eddie Murphy. One
Okay.
Eddie Murphy
You
question.
said what and what else?
I say, and what else?
Whatever you need me to be.
Uh-huh.
Listen,
No, I don't need
stand,
that.
stand on your wallet. Whatever you need me to be.
Luenell, I know you just mentioned Eddie Murphy. I could talk to you about Eddie Murphy forever, but obviously Coming to America, another iconic film. You were in Coming to America too.
Yeah.
I mean, I was friends with the late great Louis Anderson, who was
me
a
too.
wonderful comic and just a great man.
Yes.
What is it like being on set of Coming to America too? I'm just curious because I mean, again, you're recreating what was, in my opinion, one of my favorite movies, a classic of all time.
Yes.
What was that like when you got invited and to do that, Coming to America too?
Well, if I may speak uninterrupted for like 3 minutes,
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you.
Please do.
First of all, being cast in an Eddie Murphy movie at all was already a mind blower. Then to be cast in the second one in under a year, couldn't nobody tell me nothing, first of all. And then, excuse me, a lot of people had mixed issues about the movie. They were like, it wasn't the first one. First of all, the fact that those people are still alive
Incredible.
and able to do that movie
Yep.
was major. Second of all, I was coming to a studio owned by a black man, Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, who had all these sound stages that say Sidney Poitier, Ossie Davidson, Ruby Dee, Oprah Winfrey, Halle Berry, Whoopi Goldberg, and all this. And if you think about all the movies those people have done collectively over the years, and not one studio has any of their names on any studio anywhere in Hollywood. So Tyler paid homage to them, and it was very prideful to come to work and see that every day. I think we taped on the Sidney Poitier studio soundstage, and then you have all these actors with you, like what I just named. You have Eddie, and you have Arsenio, and you have John Amos, and you have Shari Headley, and you have Rick Ross, and you have, just goes on and on and on and on. And that was amazing too. Plus, you have Ruth Carter, who's the only black woman to win the Oscar for wardrobe, because she did Black Panther.
Right.
She did Coming to America, the first one. She did Coming to America, this one. And to see all my people dressed in this beautiful
Yep.
African garb every day, it was the happiest place. The extras were happy. Everybody was happy.
That's great.
Happy. So no matter what nobody says about that film, I'm proud to be in it, and I could watch it every day, man.
You know,
happy
and
for
you know
you.
what, Luenell? It's impossible to try to top the first one. That's asking too much. Just the fact that, like what you just said, I couldn't have said any better.
Like even The Godfather.
Of course, and
You-
like
they were good,
just
but
the
they'll
fact
never be
that
the
these
first
people,
one.
many of them, and of course, the late great Louis Anderson, but just to get these people back together,
Yeah.
is very special, right?
Yes.
It's very special to see. What is it, Semi?
The only
Playing
people
Semi?
we didn't get Sam Jackson back.
That's why is that? You think he wanted too much money? Why is that?
No, because they've got money. I think
Tyler
he
Perry
just
definitely
was
got money.
He was like the guy who tried to rob the McDowells back
Yeah.
in the, and that was one of his
because
first
they're
movies.
going to make him own the McDowells in
Why
this
is it?
sequel.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Luenell. Why is it? Here's a guy like Samuel L. Jackson. It was one of his first breaks in Hollywood. And listen, I can't speak for him. I'm just trying to. What do you? I mean, I guess I'll ask you two. I don't know, but why is it you think they couldn't get him to do like a quick scene in Coming to America 2? I think that would have been great.
Well, I really don't know why. But it's his loss.
Right.
Because
I
he
agree.
should have done it.
It doesn't. It's priceless, right? You already got all the money in the world. Why not just be with the
But
cast
maybe he
again?
had a conflict. You know, he could have
Yeah.
been out of the country.
It's
when
possible,
to do-
but a lot of
do
the others that were in the first one were obviously in the second one, and it was great to see you in that movie, and it was.
Well,
just
I
awesome.
just, I got mixed feelings about Sam anyway, because I just have never gotten over when he did Eve's Bayou, and he had to kiss little young Megan Good. It rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, get somebody else to do it.
Not get somebody
Get somebody
else
else
to
to
do it.
Is there
I didn't-
anybody in Hollywood, if you were asked, Luenell, that you had to have a kiss scene or a love scene with somebody in Hollywood, is there somebody you say, absolutely not, I won't do it? Are there people out there that you just won't work with and do stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to mention any names, though.
No, let me think. I
She's like, I got
named
you.
names.
She's like, I got you.
I would never want to. I don't know. I've kissed some pretty hideous people in movies before.
Like, if you had to kiss Donald Trump and they paid you 6 figures, would you do it?
No.
You wouldn't?
I'm glad you have standards.
No, I wouldn't do it.
I'm glad. If there's somebody in Hollywood that you've always had a thing for that you would love to kiss on set, who would it be? Would it be like a Brad Pitt, Eddie Murphy? Like who?
No, it used to be Blair Underwood,
Oh,
but Blair has recently gotten engaged to some
well, so what?
trollop that he knew from the past. So I don't love him anymore. I would love to
not too
kiss
hurt.
my baby Bruno Mars, of course.
Bruno's very
I would
talented.
love to kiss Bruno in the
kiss
worst
Bruno
way.
Mars?
Yeah, and if you come to my show, you'll see why.
In the worst way.
In the worst way.
In the worst way. What they look like?
I mean, I would have an accident.
What is?
But I really want to kiss Jason Momoa.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because-
I
Wait,
can
with his cheeks
understand that.
out or his cheeks covered up?
He can do whatever he wants to with his cheeks, my cheeks.
Let me just
his
say this:
lips,
as a
my
straight
lips,
man, I
all
can
my
say
lips.
I can totally understand that. What's Cat Williams like behind closed? Like, is he just crazy and fun to hang out with? I'm curious.
None of us are like that behind closed doors.
No.
No.
So Cat's
No, no.
reserved, or
I mean, some people are. Like Miguel Nunez is crazy.
I know
on
Miguel
screen,
very
and
well. He's a
Miguel
friend of mine.
Nunez is crazy
Yeah.
in real life. But most of
Miguel
the
is
comics-
crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy.
I don't know, Luenell. You seem pretty crazy in real life, too. You seem like you
Who,
got it.
me?
So
She's
you got
gonna
a
slap
fire
you. You
under
better be careful.
You got
Yeah.
a fire under
No,
you.
you're
My
right.
God,
Miguel,
right.
who played Juana Man, is a personal friend of mine. I went with him and Vivica A. Fox to a Laker game, and Miguel is nuts.
Yes, he's crazy
Like
all
he is,
the time.
he never slows down. Like I'm
No.
like Miguel, how much cocaine do you do? Like, bro, I don't do cocaine.
He don't do no
No,
drugs
he's
like
just
that.
he's just
Not like that.
he's just like Ritalin. Like he's just nonstop.
Wait,
like,
hyper.
speaking about drugs, didn't you just get banned from, not banned, but blocked on Instagram for something really stupid? Can you tell us about
Yeah.
that?
what happened?
Because
Tell us.
social media be
Okay.
trying it.
Well, first of all, to answer your question about
Yes.
Cat,
Sorry.
he is a very, soft-spoken, quiet guy. He's very competitive. He likes to play basketball and always,
Yep.
challenges somebody like that.
He's not a center.
No, he's not a center unless he stands on his wallet.
Keep it up.
And
He's got a lot of
right,
money. That's
don't
true.
come from my cat. And myself, I have very quiet times. I have very stoic time.
Mm-hmm.
I turn on so much on stage that I don't, usually do a lot of it around the house. But, I am a fun chick. It's my nature. I have a, really bad temper, really wicked mouth, reckless. So
Like my
I
mom.
try to stay out of that zone.
Yep.
And then so the next question you had asked me was, it was after Cat, and you said something else real fast.
Yeah. So I actually, you made me just forget. But actually, I want to, hold on, I'm going to get to that in a second. But you made a great statement about how, you know, you have a bad temper and you're trying to work on that.
You asked me about getting banned off.
Yeah, but before you get into that, though, I want to stay on this topic. Do you go to therapy for your temper, though?
No,
Why not?
because I don't want to.
Have you ever gone to therapy, though?
Yes.
Did you like it?
No.
If there's anybody in Hollywood you'd want to sock in the face, who would it be?
Her face. Her face. Look, don't get us banned on YouTube now. Tell us, what is it?
Like, what would you do to a guy like Harvey Weinstein? Would you just beat the crap out of him?
No, I'd give him what he wanted. I'd pee in his mouth.
Ew, hold on, wait.
Are you sure you're not talking about Donald Trump? I'm sorry.
Ew.
Both of them.
But let's go back to the social media thing. What got you banned on Instagram?
Okay, first of all, I get blocked from live all the time.
But why?
Because they be picking on me because I see some of the most nastiest,
I do.
rudest,
Trust me,
inappropriate
I've been seeing
stuff.
unclothed
And then
people
they
live.
block me.
Right.
So right now I'm blocked from going live, which I'm going to fight because I had my assistant had got me this. Preface. I haven't had mushrooms in my mouth since the 80s.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Because I was like, oh, these kids, I'm not, But he got me this little chocolate candy bar that had mushroom in it.
Oh.
And you eat a little bit of it, and it's just zing, and it's so much fun. And it took me about 2 weeks to eat this little candy bar.
Okay.
And I said, I want some more. And so he went to the dispensary where he went to go
Yeah.
get it. They were out, but he ordered some. So I put the candy bar on my Insta story, and on my story, mind you.
Right.
And said, what dispensary has these? Get at me.
Right.
It was truffle purple meanies or something like that it was called. And they blocked me for that.
What
That's
they say,
ridiculous.
was it, were you promoting the wrong things?
I wasn't promoting nothing. I was trying to get some, trying
Right.
to cop.
Well,
I
now,
don't
do you,
think-
do you
listen,
feel
I-
like it's too like we're in a
No,
cancel
they're
culture?
looking at certain people.
Right.
They're looking
and
at certain
they're
I know, but
picking
when
on
you
They're trying
see
to
what
find a
happened
way to
to, listen,
distribute
Chris
it.
Rock getting slapped, but Dave Chappelle, that was serious, right? A guy came at him with a
Yeah,
knife. This is your profession, and I love Dave Chappelle, by the way. This is what you do for a living. Does that scare you? When
Not
you
at all.
Really? Why? Because some comics are.
Because I keep a knife on stage anyway.
Yeah, you do really.
So
For
you're
that
ready to
reason.
fight for yourself.
Did you always do that, Luenell, or just recently in the last few years?
No, but I have been saying that comedians are too accessible anyway. The clubs pack them in so that you can be right here and there can be an audience member like right
But
here.
isn't the point for it to be intimate, for you to feel like you're actually there in the
But
show?
there's intimacy and then there's danger.
Right.
You know, when you are a singer, there's usually a pit
Okay.
between the audience and yourself, or there's a bunch of security. Most of the clubs, the security is there for the club,
Yeah.
not for you. And if security's in the back of the room, you could get stabbed 12 times
Before they come
by
up.
the time they could get
Right.
to
I
you.
agree. I don't blame you.
So
for,
I hire
yeah.
my own security at
Yeah.
Kimmel's. They have security, but I hire
So
my
what
own.
solution do you think outside of security that they should have to protect you and other comedians?
You mean the club?
Yeah, do they just have
They
a gate
They
or
should.
push
First of
tables back?
all, they should have security by the stage on both sides. They should also regulate their own audience so the comic doesn't have to say, "Can you guys be quiet?" or whatever like that.
Okay.
And because if you were,
Right.
black in a white club and you're causing too much ruckus, somebody gonna come speak
Oh,
to
they're
you. But
real
if you're
quick.
white in a white club, ain't nobody gonna talk to you. And then it's the comics' job to do that, and so that becomes annoying because that's not what we're really there for, and don't want to, don't want to antagonize anybody. But mostly the best device to keep people from heckling you or trying to attack you is to be loved, to be a beloved comic. I
Right.
feel like I'm that. Nobody gonna come at me that way, and I don't give off the
Right.
persona to where you would want to do nothing like that.
Unless you have some of those Christians in the Borat movie that are at your show, wearing the white.
You
cape.
say they were Christians.
Whatever
Right.
they are.
Nobody said they were ever
Racist.
Christians.
Was David
Right.
They
Duke?
were
David Duke was at
successionists.
that dinner, I think. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You make a great point. You said that you want people to love you so that you can feel protected at your
No, I don't
shows.
want people to love
You
me.
have to be loved.
They do.
Okay. Period. Let me know.
I'm
But-
one of them, by the way.
Listen,
And I
love you
want
too.
them to love me, but that's
Wait, how you gonna say you gonna try to come at me, but now you gonna say now you want
no,
them
no,
to love
no.
you?
Everybody wants love,
Right.
But they don't need to love me the way they do, but they do.
Got you.
You
deserve
know?
it.
And I do deserve it. I'm not out here messing with nobody or
Right.
trying
But
to
I
do
wanna-
nothing.
With that being said, though, you are a woman who still doesn't care to speak her mind and stand on her beliefs. So how do you feel comedy has evolved now with there being so many people who speak out against certain racial, sexual, and gender-specific jokes?
Well, see, I have my first Netflix special being taped in 3 weeks, produced by Dave Chappelle.
Okay, nice. Congrats.
And I hope to, with my special, I hope to bring just the fun back into a comedy special.
right.
You know, I want people to leave with their endorphins tingling and talking about it in the car. I feel like a lot of the specials, nobody in specific, the last like 4 I've watched, they seem a little preachy to me. And like, let's talk about something else besides the obvious.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about some stuff that's relatable to everybody. I'm here in Las Vegas as a black woman of a certain age, but my audiences are not gender specific, they're not race specific, they're not any of that. These are tourists. Some people can't even speak English, but they've seen the girl in Borat and didn't want to see me
I love
in
that.
person.
I love that.
So you have to be a comic who is able to be related to by everybody out
everybody.
there.
Yep.
And that's what type of comedy that I do.
Again, a couple more quick questions for you, Luenell.
No
we,
worries.
We really appreciate you being here. She's
thank you.
performing on a residency at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club Sunday night at 9 p.m.
9:30.
9:30. Sorry, I got that wrong. I knew
And
I
you
would
can
screw that
arrive
up.
at
Show up
9.
early, though. Show up early, y'all.
Right.
Pack the house
Yeah.
out.
And then tonight it's 7:30.
30.
Okay, 7:30.
Add them
I'm
30s in
giving,
there.
But be there at 7.
I'm getting it. Yeah, 30 minutes
No
earlier.
CP time.
So let's,
Okay, right.
Luenell, let's talk about Las Vegas because you just recently bought a house. Congratulations on
Thank
that, by
you.
the way. I think that's
Congrats.
awesome. You're officially a Vegas local.
I am.
You know, a movie that you were in, The Rock. You know, Nicolas Cage has lived out here and he loves it here. I've had
And
a chance.
Wahlberg's been in a big
Mark-
studio
Mark-
out here.
I wanted to ask you about that because you're so in this industry for a long time. Wahlberg says it's the best decision he ever made. Him and his family moving out here.
Oh, yeah.
he loves it.
Yeah.
Nick Cage has said very similar things to that. Tom Brady just bought a house out here. As someone who spent so much time in LA and working in this industry, I wanted to know the differences for you between LA and Vegas. And obviously, you move here, you have a residency here, which is great. I just feel like it's so much more relaxing out here off the strip. And LA is so stressful. There's so many people, the smog, the traffic. The
people.
It's more expensive to live out there, too. It's crazy. And the homeless issues out there in California, it's horrible. I just feel like Vegas is more relaxing. Do you agree or disagree?
My home in Las Vegas, I was telling Mark, my assistant over here,
Yeah.
my home in Las Vegas is the peace I never knew I needed.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I needed it. Because in LA, I got peace in my home and stuff. But, yeah, you can go a couple blocks.
Once
Well,
you walk out that
actually,
door, though.
I live 3 blocks away from the Marathon shop where Nipsey was murdered.
Where Nipsey Hussle was?
okay.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
so I pass that every day, so that's heartbreaking and depressing every
my
day.
God, that's terrible.
It's like PTSD because every day you
knew
pass
Nipsey?
I didn't know him.
Yeah.
But I knew.
It
I know
affected the
it's
entire
people.
community, though.
Yeah, of course.
He did a lot for.
I
And
live
see,
downtown. I just
I've-
moved from downtown. There's murals everywhere.
Of
Still.
course,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course, they're not gonna get rid of them.
They're not.
And you know, like I lived through, King, Kennedy King, Martin, I lived through all that. But as my daughter, this is the first assassination of somebody like that in her life.
Right.
So I had to see her go through it. It was enough that Michael died, and then they had his funeral at the Staples Center. Then Nipsey got murdered, and then they had his funeral at the Staples Center. Now it's Crypto.com. And to watch her go through this and see what it did to her and the community, it's traumatic. But going back to the question, I love LA. LA is where the studios are. LA is where the opportunities are, those opportunities.
Right.
And LA is where the stars are. Okay, so that was fine. And I still have my house in LA. I have a video studio in LA. I have another studio my daughter lives in 4 blocks from my house in LA. Fine. But this house in Vegas is the piece that I didn't know I needed.
I'm happy for
Like I sit by the pool in the mornings and I smoke a joint and I, play with the dog and
Aw.
nobody really knows where I am. It's in a gated community and I feel a little bit better.
Right.
You know, I wasn't
So you
worried
can
in
breathe.
L.A. I wasn't worried in L.A. because, you know, God covers me and I'm not worried about any of that.
Period.
Plus,
Speak it.
plus I got bars. But I got bars all around that thing. It's like living in the
You
zoo.
got them pew-pews?
Well, listen, I love that you're living here, that you bought a house here. I think that's so
Yeah, I
awesome.
love it.
You're a part of the community. And how
Welcome.
long have you been here for?
Well, my nephew, I bought the house for my nephew.
Oh,
I took a note out of Nipsey's page about generational wealth, and I said, well, let me buy it, you know, and he wanted to move back to Texas where his father, my brother, is because they're getting older. I'm the 8th of 8 kids. He wanted to get closer to his parents. So he was going to put the house up for sale. I walked through it. I'm like, well, let me, you know, and this is my first home.
Right.
It took me a little longer than some
Right.
people, but, you know, so what? So it's
con-
got nothing but family juju all in the house.
That's beautiful.
And it's a really, really beautiful property.
That's awesome.
Easily it would have cost 2.5 in L.A.
You know Jimmy J.J. Walker? He lives out here. He's been performing here for years.
I met him a couple of weeks ago at Kimmel's.
He's a good
Nice.
guy. Really
well,
good guy.
I don't know. His girlfriend is trash.
So you better speak it. Hold on. When is the housewarming? Because I want to know my
No
invite.
housewarming.
When is my invite coming in the mail?
Well,
I
I'll give you my
told
address.
everybody I'm not having no housewarming until I get housekeepers.
Oh,
Because I'm not
okay.
spending the next day fishing solo cups
yeah.
out my
I don't blame you. So, Luenell, we want to make the room packed tonight.
Yeah.
You certainly deserve it. Unfortunately, I can't. I wish I could go tonight, but I
But
want
there's many, many
next week.
weekends
I'm gonna
to
come.
come.
I'm gonna come see you next week. That is
I'm
a
free tonight. I'm
promise.
going to support you.
Yeah.
Can you?
I'm going to come
Yes.
support you.
Yes.
Oh, you're
Is
gonna
this
have
my
a-
invite?
And yes, this
Oh,
is
I
your
got the
formal
invite on
invite
air.
for any of you.
Jamie's
here.
just trying to get free
And then you
tickets.
got to promise me you'll come back on
Absolutely.
and tell people I went and the show.
Okay.
Da 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 da.
Okay,
If
I
you
always-
hated it, say that.
No, I'm not.
If you love it, say that.
Okay, you know what?
I could
got
never
you.
do that. I
Well,
got.
you should do that if you hated it.
Well,
but there's
I
no
She
way
hated-
was,
for
she
you
was
to
in the
hate it.
same. She said she hated her headphones.
I hated the rock. I hated the rock festival I went to over the weekend. I've been complaining about it and bitching about it because I'm Jewish. We complain a lot. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
you do.
That's what I. Yes, but we get along. Black people and Jewish people get along.
My girlfriend is Italian Jewish. She
Oh,
lives
okay,
on the
good.
other side of Vegas.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Well, last question, Luenell.
No, because you didn't ask me about Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh, Donnie Wahlberg.
I mean, which Wahlberg?
That's his brother from New Kids on the Block.
The
You're
one
talking
that's
about Mark
building
Wahlberg.
Mark.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, wait.
I like
who?
Donnie too.
I
New
mean,
Kids on the
whatever.
Block.
Right.
Who's the one with the Calvin Kleins on? That's my
I was
brother.
like, wait, wrong person.
Mark Wahlberg. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Mark.
Yep. Yep. You said you wanted to talk about Mark.
No,
Oh.
I said, and he's building a studio, and you said I
Correct.
wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah, because you've been in this industry for so long, and I keep hearing rumblings about that they're going to be bringing studios here. Do you think that day is going to happen in our lifetime?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Las Vegas is a great place to film.
Yeah.
Not so much on that strip because
no.
the traffic and the
And the people just
construction.
everywhere.
Well, that's what you get with Vegas. It's always been that way, but it's the construction.
It's bad.
That is making everything crazy. and
I
it's
look,
not
I had a
just
flat
here.
tire this morning. I was so over it because of construction.
Did you?
Yeah, a nail in my tire. Again, I moved
That's
here a month
terrible.
ago. When I tell you, this is my piece too, but a lot of stuff been happening over this month, friend.
Maybe it was, I heard maybe it was Jimmy J.J. Walker's girlfriend. I don't know. Luenell, last question, Luenell, because we
I'm
want
gonna stay out
to
of
we
it.
want to pack we want to pack Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club tonight. For people that have never seen your show before, what should they expect, and why should they come see the iconic Luenell tonight at Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club?
Because my show is intelligent, my show is informative, on top of being hilarious, and it's a good date night, and you can find out a lot about a guy or a girl when you find out what type of sense of humor they have.
Yep.
And because Jimmy Kimmel's is a great facility, great comfortable club, and because if you really need to let off some stress, and if you really need to not chuckle but throw your head back, wipe your eyes with tears, then I'm the chick that you need to come see.
Oh, that
I'm
sounds.
excited.
Whether a boy or a girl.
got
Because
it.
a lot of guys don't come to see female comics unless their girlfriend drags them there. But I like to call myself guy funny, which means that guys will come see me even without their chick.
I love that.
Come and see what
I
I'm talking
absolutely love that. Well,
about.
Luenell,
Very sexual.
Period.
That's
Period.
the
Talk
kind
that
of
talk.
that's the kind of comedian I like. I don't like PG-13 stuff.
Me
Anyway,
neither.
no, it's
Y'all like
too
a nasty
Yawn.
man.
Although
Y'all like nasty.
I love Louis Anderson though. He was very
I
PG.
clearly, because you've mentioned him like
Yes.
5 times.
I love that guy. I love that
I loved
guy.
Louis too.
Yes. Well, Luenell, thank you so much for coming in studio.
Thank
You're welcome
you.
back
Yes.
anytime.
Okay.
I can't wait to see your show. Congratulations
Wait,
on
can I
the
feel you
He
one time
gonna
on
come-
air?
Yes, baby.
Ooh, your skin's so soft. What's the secret?
I don't do any
Is it-
manual
is it-
labor.
Hold on, wait. Is it secret, young men?
That might be the secret. That's why everything else on me is so soft.
I'm gonna leave that one alone because I don't want to break any FCC regulations.
We're getting close.
Yes. Luenell, thank you so much for being here. You're
Oh,
the
and
best.
if you want to follow me on Instagram,
Yes.
anybody, please check me out at Luenell at Luenell.
Luenell, don't get blocked on there.
She'll be
okay?
unblocked soon.
I know I will be unblocked soon. 'Cause that was some
Fight the
BS.
power.
The very funny and talented Luenell joining us in studio.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yes. Sound
Can't-
effects.
Very nice. Sorry, I had to do that once.
Very nice.
Very nice. High five. Luenell, you're the best. Thank you so much for being here. And
Thank
can't wait to see your show. She's performing live Sundays at 9:30, Mondays at 7:30. I got it right. How about that?
Yes.
But still get there early.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
but
They have
early.
a happy hour from
Yes,
4 to 7,
it's
so
awesome.
get there early.
They do.
The lovely and talented Luenell. Thank you so much for being
Thanks,
here. Luenell.
everybody.
Appreciate that. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this with Chris Wynn. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true